In my continued pursuit to bring logic to the illogical, here we go again. Once again, the video game crowd, the actual consumers, don't take accountability again for the things they say or do, which seems to be an internet generation problem, just plain out and simple. See, normally I would have an intro for these things, but I'm sick and tired when it comes to video games, video gamers, and just the general discussion of them. So I'm done with all the kid gloves. I'm done with all your mess. Microsoft just laid off 9,000 people. And what's the reaction to it? Screw Xbox. Why would they? You've just made record profits. Oh, the blah, blah, blah that we hear every time a corporation massively fires their studios and cancels projects such as Perfect Dark and Everwild. Projects in which we've never seen a damn thing for about three years or any gameplay executed. So let me cut through all the bullshit. Let me spell it out for you, realist style. And if none of you don't want to hear it and get angry with me, I'm not going to respond to your comments. More than likely, you're going to get blocked. Because I have zero time for your idiocy, because I have to deal with anxiety and stress, and not you. So let me point this out point blank. Every one of those 9,000 layoffs that were just suffered, our fault. Your fault. Everyone else's fault. You want to know why? Because every time a game gets a 7 out of 10 review, every time you give a critic review of 3.5 to a game, or God forsaken lower, every time you review bomb a game, every time you complain that a game is mid, here's the reality. People get fired. Every time you call a game mid, you are guaranteeing those people get fired. Every time you have a criticism over Twitter about a game's present state, people get fired. Every time you say a negative thing about a game that results in a game underselling, underperforming, or just having no buzz at all, this includes hardware, by the way, people get fired. Or should I say, not only fired, but replaced with computers. We all sit here and we dread the fear of an AI future where people don't have jobs, and yet computers do everything to make a 6 out of 10 or below game that we won't have any interest in. Yet it's because of our attitudes and our taste or lack thereof in games, or proper criticism, or worse yet, proper expectations that these magical 6 out of 10s get made and people get fired. Yet we expect the corporate people to be the ones to not do this because of the record profit that is shown. Money doesn't necessarily guarantee that your jobs are safe. Not in this America, where money floats about as much as the water in your bathtub, and where people that have 30 to 40-year careers are being axed because departments are being shrunk down and shrunk down and shrunk down some more. Why? Because consumers don't show up. Hell, DuPont vegetables. You know, those fruit in a can company. You know, that thing that's been around since as long as I've been born just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy today. And why? Because people aren't buying their product. Every time you write a bad review, no matter where on the internet, in video games particularly, you are guaranteeing that people get fired. Period. Unless the sales are so big or a game is connected to a brand, say Madden, 2K, WWE, you are practically guaranteeing their firemen. So every time you say a game is mid, every time you call a game a 4 out of 10 undeserving game that's not worth your time, and this is including myself, by the way, you are guaranteeing the firing of these people. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but it is practically a guarantee. Because why would any employee or any corporation want to keep people employed when there are no results? Not even a proper tech demo to show people, not even proper gameplay to display to people. After 3 years, after multiple developer reshufflings, creative director firings, and the like, which was what was going on with Everwild and Perfect Dark, by the way. And the only reason why Perfect Dark went asunder is because Embracer Group didn't want Crystal Dynamics, leaving them to go work on it. That's why that game is gone. God forbid, do your research. Go back and read the tumultuous development of that game, especially over the last year, when people like Jason Schreier were already reporting as of a year ago that the game was in creative trouble and lost their writer, their main creative director, and their storyboarder already by Crystal Dynamics' hand. Plus, with all the upheaval of tariffs and different budgets, you know companies are going to downsize on top of that. But why would they downsize? Because of the fear of failure. Because of us. They don't want to release a 6 out of 10 game. They want to release a 10 out of 10 game. But let's be honest, even if Perfect Dark or Everwild or anything that Xbox produced were to ever release, you would just call it a 6 anyway, which would guarantee those people to be fired. And I'm even holding myself accountable. I might one day screw around and get Naughty Dog axed from existence and all their employees fired. Yes, me, because I might review a game that they do and give it a 4 out of 10, realizing that if the game doesn't succeed, they all die. People in the gaming sphere wanted gamers to have all the power over the fates of whether developers have a job or not. You do. It's called the weapons called Twitter and Metacritic. Companies care about it more so than ever. But of course, They're not going to tell you publicly that because they want to be the ones up there holding the gun to guilt you. When, honestly, they should guilt you. When you're sitting there giving every game a 2.5, 6 out of 10, and maybe I'll play it on Game Pass if it's lucky enough to possibly bump it up a couple points. Today's layoffs are signs of this. One, gamers don't realize the power they have as gamers to get developers fired because it's largely understated. And two, that AI future that you're resisting against, every time you cause a game to fail, every time you cause a development studio to close, you are marching us one step closer to that failure. And the only way we stop it is if we own it. Not by buying more games, because that doesn't do anything, but by shutting our mouths. Stop allowing people and YouTube critics, even myself, to tell you when, how, and why to buy a video game. Who cares if it's a 2.5 user score on Metacritic? Who cares if the user score reads a 50? If you truly believe in a game or the premise of a game, buy it. Period. End of story. Don't even listen to me. Go out and buy it. And if there's a game that you haven't seen for about a year or more without any new game process, just know that the sword of Damocles has already come down. They just haven't announced it yet. This is what happens when you create a world where every game has to be a 9 or die. We created this world of perfection or nothing. Now we're seeing the results. And it's not like the machines are going to do any better. But then again, with all the developers that we forced to get fired, we're just going to have to trust in the machines because there aren't going to be any developers left, at least in the AAA space, to make us a game. And I bet you it still takes them 3 or 4 years to put a display of what the game is on their palette. And even after they do that, they probably still won't occupy the same amount of time I'm getting in Zenless Zone Zero. A good game created by people, not in America. These layoffs today are clearly a Western video game problem. It is not an Eastern one. You want to know why? Because in the East, they actually have laws against this. But we've given the critics too much power now, have we? How long will it be before we realize we did? Find peace in your own nirvana. And no, I don't care. Because this is the world we built in video games, and it's about time we shut up and learn to live in it instead of trying to change it, which we won't.